Was it really bad?
No, not at all. Not at all. Just give me 1 second. I'm just collating it. Yeah. No, of course it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Why are you saying that?
I'm just asking. Like, I was just too nervous. Like,
No,
I even had a bath just before it.
No. Good. You came dressed in formals and all of that. I mean, that obviously counts for something, right? That shows your seriousness. So that's a good thing. All right. So now you tell me, what is your assessment of the interview?
Like, I would have better prepared for some of the company finances first, because that is because I have written economics as my favorite subject in SOP. So that would have been one thing that could backfire in real scenario.
Yeah.
And second was, I might have prepared well for my graduation thing, but I would say like I was not much prepared because I thought it is 2 years of experience and people won't go much. So I prepared one of my subject, like I am going through some of the economic basics. Like even that's where I was, like when you asked me about that, what okay, yeah, short selling.
Diminishing. So short selling. Huh?
Even the short selling, I was not doing. Like I in 1992 that which Mehta. Actually, I'm really bad at names. Yeah, Harshad Mehta. So that name, so that Harshad Mehta thing happened, right? Even that in that web series, I came across this short selling. A lot of time, I could understand the concept that okay, they were making the money with the beer thing, but how they were actually making. But luckily 2 days back, like I was just sitting online, so I just typed it and I just saw one good picture there. So okay, there were 3 things. So that's why I was smiling when you asked me that question. Got it. Even that demand supply question, like actually this is the only curve I remember from my economics class.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay. All right. So see, I'll tell you overall. We'll start with like broad feedback and then we'll get into specifics. Okay. See, Om, you have a very strong profile in terms of like your NIT Calicut background, the brand that you have, the brands that you've worked for, both Nokia and Qualcomm, right? Your ZAT score, of course, is very strong. So overall, your profile is very strong. Okay, so you stand a good chance of sort of getting through and converting. Of course, what you have to make sure now is that your interview goes well. But your profile is actually quite strong. Even your academic scores. I mean, I understand there is a 79.2 in 12th, but overall, I think it's a consistent sort of academic score as well. You have an 8.08 CGPA in engineering, which is good. Okay, and especially it's an NIT Calicut sort of engineering, right? So that will count for a lot. The academic gap for JEE is not a problem at all. Okay, if that comes up, you just have to explain and they'll understand. Okay, so profile very strong. Okay,
thank you.
Interview, there are some parts of the interview that you handled well, some parts that need improvement, and I'll talk about that. Okay, now before I get into details, broadly speaking, Om, I think in terms of your communication, there are a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind. Okay, there were multiple situations where you were getting into too much of unnecessary detail.
Okay.
So I'll give you examples. So for instance, when I asked you to sort of explain your job, or what is your job description or what are your roles and responsibilities at work, you got into too much details, and I had to sort of take you through I had to interrupt you and say, no, give me the main points, right? And when you watch the video, you'll understand. Okay, there was too much of detail there. Then when we were discussing about hardware devices, okay, I think there you gave me a lot of details, and I thought that could have been a answer as well. When I asked you about major revenue streams, also I saw that you were getting into too much details. Like I wasn't getting direct answers. Okay, and I think I remember telling you that a couple of times in the interview as well, right? Like give me direct answers, right? Yeah. Even product management role. Like I asked you, for instance, I said, what do you think are the core responsibilities of a product manager? So you started off by saying, of course, they'll have a team responsibility because they'll have a team under it. That's not a core responsibility. The core responsibility is towards the product, right? Okay. Yeah. So you starting off with teams, and not every product manager has a team under them. Okay. Not every product manager is a people manager. Okay. That's not their core responsibility. The core responsibility is towards the product. Right. So I think overall on the communication front, what you need to watch out for is give them as direct answers as possible.
Okay.
Okay. Don't get into unnecessary details. Okay. Keep your answers concise.
Okay.
And wherever possible, structure them. Right. So for instance, that you can't do this in every question, but for instance, why do you want to do an MBA? Some people say, have three main reasons of doing an MBA. Then they go into 1, 2, 3. Right. That helps you to structure. Right. But I think more than structure, I think for you it's important to give direct to the point answers without unnecessary details.
Right. I will take care of this.
Yeah, you'll have to watch the interview and sort of be conscious of that. I think it'll take care of that bit. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, whenever I get a bit nervous, that is one thing I have even came across, identified about myself, is whenever I am nervous, I talk too much. Too much. I don't stop.
So you're worried that you haven't prepared for interviews enough, and that's where that nervousness is coming from there, and also the external pressure that you have.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, all right. Now, by the way, feel free to loosen your tie and just have if you want to remove your coat, remove it. The thing is, see, one thing that you don't have to worry about at all is your profile. Okay. And a lot of the selection that will happen depends on the profile. Okay. I'm telling you this here because your profile is fantastic. I'm not going to go and say that to a person I'm not saying interview doesn't matter. Of course it matters. It matters a lot. But profile also counts for a lot. Okay. And you have a consistently strong profile. Okay. So that is definitely one trump card that you have. Okay. So, take relief in the fact that your profile is very strong. Number one. Okay. Number two, you have some good calls, like you have XLRI, of course, which you are gunning for, right? Hopefully you'll convert that. Everything is sorted. Tell me one thing, and I'm just discussing. Let's say, God forbid, you don't clear XLRI, or you don't get a choice of your college this year. What happens then?
And I will again start preparation for my CAT.
Right, but you will continue your job as well, right?
Yeah. Job is
right.
There anyways.
So see, your broad feedback I've given you about communication. Keep that in mind. I think that's super important. I think if you take care of this, the communication bit, your interview will significantly get better. Okay. You have the content with you. Your content is good, right? You have substance. It's just that the communication part needs to be taken care of.
Okay.
Right. So concise, to the point, without unnecessary detail. Okay. And I can give you some tips here. So for instance, if they ask you a question, right, feel free in a couple of times you can ask them for a minute to think about it. Okay. You can sort of even with every question, people do this. They'll hear the question, they'll pause for a few seconds, they'll think about it, then they'll start talking. Okay. And also listen properly to their question, what they're asking, so that you can directly answer it. Okay. See, generally these XLRI panels are quite chill. Okay. They'll call you there to have a discussion with you. As you go above the ladder in these colleges, right? These colleges typically don't conduct stress interviews. They genuinely want to have a discussion with you. That's why they're calling you. So they want to understand, okay, why does one want to do an MBA? What is his profile? Does he have high quality work experience? Right? Does he have general awareness? They'll have a discussion with you. Right? Okay. And typically they won't stress you out. Okay. So go with that mindset that you're going there. It's a great opportunity that you have to talk to XLRI panel. Go there with the mindset of having a discussion. Feel free to pause for a few seconds, then answer, ask them for time, then answer.
Okay, I will tell you one more thing honestly. Yeah. The problem is why I am going for a bit elongated answer. I would take care of this in the final interview for sure. But I am going for it because I want the number of questions to be on the lesser side. I am telling this on the lighter note, but
I'll tell you that strategy will backfire. Okay. It'll backfire because you know what? The moment you start giving longer answers, right, you will end up annoying the panel.
True.
Right? And then what happens is if the panel starts getting a little impatient or annoyed, right, they have a specific amount of time that they have, 15, 20 minutes. They want to get as much data as possible from you to make that decision.
Okay.
So if you don't give them concise answers, they will be able to collect 50% of the data from you, and that will impact your decision when they take it after the interview.
Okay.
because these panels have to go back and justify, right? Saying, okay, this is the data that I have about Om, and this is why I want to select him.
Okay.
So that's why go for short answers.
Okay.
Right?
I want a feedback on my SOP. Is that okay? Okay.
SOP is fine. Your SOP is fine. SOP is fine. Just that I don't see any problem in the SOP. You've stressed on economics, so expect questions around basics of economics that you'll have to revise.
I'm already going through full engineering economics module from YouTube. Like they are giving me overview only, but
do the basics of economics. You don't have to go into depth because they understand it's an optional elective subject that you chose. So go for basics.
Yeah, that's why I have written that it was a kind of reading like out of my technical things. I have some good time. So
correct. So see, so go for basics, and if they ask you advanced questions, you can be honest and say with a smile that don't get nervous. Say that sir, there is an interest in it, but I learned it at a very basic level, right? So I'm sorry, I'm not aware of this particular concept, but the thing is, I did enjoy learning about it, and I hope to learn more about it in the MBA program, right? So apologize. So it's okay, they'll understand.
My apology is okay, like because I heard in a lot of interviews that there is very much point for the how you apologize for not knowing the answer.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Go egoistic, and neither should go very much stressed. It's okay, right?
No. I think a couple of times in the interview, your nervousness did come through. You got flustered a little bit. Okay. Don't get flustered. My point is, see, for instance, I asked you, where was that? Right, diminishing marginal utility. Okay. Then you were like, okay, no, I'm like, I think you got a little flustered there, right?
Yeah.
Just, it's okay. Don't get flustered. Just take a pause and think about it and say, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, I don't remember the concept, right? But I'll make sure to catch up on it, right? Every candidate comes out of the interview invariably not being able to answer 2 to 3 questions, right? It happens with every candidate. The best of candidates, it happens to them, because what happens is the moment you give an answer, they'll go deeper and they'll take you to a point where you say, oh, I don't know, right? So don't worry about it. 2 or 3 questions you are not able to answer, it's fine.
Okay.
So
sir, like one thing, like improvement, you said like too much details, I will take care of it. And then direct answer, I would try to like whatever I know I would go. I will, otherwise I would go to direct in the sorry mode, like sorry. So I would take any of those 2 answers. But let's say if my interviews goes on the similar line how it went today, like, do you think I have a good chances to convert? Or
yes, because see, that's what I'm saying, your content is good. You know your stuff, right? Just that because of nervousness, what's happening is you're going a little all over the place. So if you kind of little bit control your nervousness and give more concise to the point answers, with this interview also you have a good chance. The content is fine.
Okay, my attitude like towards most of the thing which I have done, like as I prepared for JEE for 3 years, and then preparing for CAT from like seriously from 1 year at least. So like I am like how I go about most of the things, most of the competitive stuff in my life is like I just disconnect myself from the whatever outcome comes out of it. So that is what I am trying to do with this as well, because like that is when I get selected for my JEE. Because when I just disconnect, I'm like, okay, whatever happens. Even if I am not going through it, I will be able to make a good career out of it, because now the learning are with me, so I would be able to. So similarly, I am trying to disconnect.
Let's talk about your why MBA. Okay. So you said that customer facing role, problem solving. Okay, that's fine. Product management role. Okay, great. Perfect. And you like problem solving? Great. Okay, perfect. I think again, the elements of the answer are good. Let me just help you in packaging, and then you think about it. Okay, don't use my words, you use your own words. But if I were you, I would say something like, like you can start off by saying that you enjoy problem solving. Okay. And due to your, of course, background in, computer science engineering and your experience in Nokia and Qualcomm, you've consciously developed these problem solving skills, right? You've enjoyed solving complex problems, both in your engineering and work experience. And as a result, you've honed your problem solving skills. So technically, you can say that, technically I'm at a good stage. I feel I have good technical expertise due to my engineering background and my work experience. And I think technically I'm a good problem solver. But now I'd like to extend this. Okay. So technical skills, fantastic, right? But in order to grow in your career, okay, you need to diversify now. So, and that's where an MBA comes in. So if you combine the technical skills and the business and management skills that you'll get from an MBA, it will fast track your career growth and will give you an opportunity to solve not just technical problems, but also business problems, right? There are a number of problems. I mean, you would have seen your probably managers or senior management doing it, right? If you grow, let's say even in Qualcomm, if you grow, you'll be in a position where you're solving a mix of technical and business problems, right? You're also looking at client acquisition. You're also looking at your company's P&L, okay, profitability of the project, and you're also mentoring your team on the technical front. So it's a combination of both technical and business skills, right? So you have the technical skills, you need the business skills so that you can sort of, get into the problem solving arena of business problems as well.
Okay.
I think include that aspect. Other aspects are fine. You speak about customer facing role, product management, all of that is okay. But I think just extend the problem solving to the business and management side.
Okay.
Okay. And that's a good reason for doing an MBA. And say that, it will, because they'll probably come back and say, oh, Om, but you're working in Qualcomm. If you continue here, you can grow. Agreed. But MBA from a good school, from a top school like XLRI, will fast track your growth. And post MBA, they'll be like, okay, what do you want to do? So you can say that, as you said, I think I'm coming in with an open mind. But yeah, product management is one area I would like to explore. But again, I'm keeping an open mind. So wherever it takes me, you can come back to IT at a senior role. You can take up product management or you can take up something else. Right? And combine your post MBA with YMBA, and then it becomes more concrete. So your elements will be problem solving, customer facing, product management from post MBA, and fast track career growth. Include these elements and your YMBA is done. Okay. You can even prepare your bullet points if you want.
Yeah, I will write it down.
Your answer will be, by the way, that's one more thing you can do. If you want to avoid, getting into unnecessary detail, standard questions, tell me something about yourself, why MBA, just have bullet points ready.
Yeah, even I have written those actually for myself.
Perfect. So I think your YMBA is good. It's just that it needs to be packaged a little better. I think you're fine. You have a good reason. All of that is clear. It's not vague at all.
Yeah, that's why I actually I searched on Google, to be very frank, for a lot of things, but then I thought what actually why actually I want to do the MBA. It was very much clear before I started BTech, to be very frank, because I wanted to do it. Like some of my cousins were there, they were making good money, they were doing that, and I was very much interested, like how they going onto the site with the customer, facing the customers, and they were also giving a lot of stories, like how, like one of my cousin is in Bajaj Finserv. He's the strategic manager at India level. His name is Pratik Singh. So yeah, so he's in Bajaj Finserv. So he's from 11 years. So we used to listen a lot of stories from those time itself. So that's why my YMBA was, from that time I was like, okay, fine, I want to do MBA in this way.
That's
like
fine. That's
packaging was not very much good because it was my words, but
no, that's okay. That's okay. I think your YMBA is fine. As I said, you have the elements. Product management, you can just say, inclination towards product management, and read up a little bit on product management. See, I'll tell you what product managers do. Basically, not that I have in-depth knowledge, but I know a basic function of a product manager. They're called don't use that line, but you can consider them as the CEOs of the product.
Okay.
So you have a particular product, they are the point of contact for everything. So they are kind of like, it's the nucleus, the product manager, and then you have different teams around them. They interact with everyone. They will, of course, number one, they'll interact with the customer. Okay, pre-launch, post-launch, to collect a lot of customer feedback. So they analyze customer behavior to like the hilt, to understand what customer feedback is, how can it be incorporated, to improve the product and stuff like that. They'll do the alpha beta testing with the customers and all of that. Okay, so that's the external interaction. Internally, they interact with everything. They interact with marketing, they interact with finance, they interact with legal, they interact with engineering, just to make sure that the product's requirements are being met. Okay, so they coordinate with everyone. So it's a lot of like project management as well that they do. It's a lot of written communication that they do. And they're also in charge of keeping the C-level of the company updated about the product.
Okay.
So let's say if it's a big product that Amazon is launching, right? The product manager at the top will be the one who will be in charge of communication with the C-level. Right?
Means he is the one who is talking to CEO as well in the one front, one with his own internal team.
Yes.
The marketing, finance, engineering,
yes.
everything. And then one is a customer.
Correct.
So three bullet points.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's a lot of work, right? As you can imagine. It's a lot of work. And of course, product management roles differ from team to team. In case of like, let's say if you consider a tech company, right? Google or Apple or Amazon, usually these are engineers with MBAs who do product management. So because they have to very closely interact with the engineering team. So they need to understand the technicalities as well, right?
Because product is the hero there.
Correct. Absolutely. So obviously it's a very, very crucial role. But yeah, if you watch a YouTube video, you'll get a good idea of, and you just need to know the basics. Okay.
All basic about economics, basic about
product management,
and okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to that step.
And then I think, see, academics, I'll tell you one thing. Academics, I know it's a pain point for a lot of people. Don't worry about it. Okay. But because you have 2 years, they can go to their academics. So what you can do at this stage is just revise the basics. So look at transcripts. Okay. Interview transcripts for computer science engineering. Typically, they ask them questions. Again, it might be different, but these questions are very common. Object-oriented programming, data structures, what are pointers, very, very common areas. Yeah. So that object-oriented programming is definitely.
Yeah. I went for operating system. Actually, I thought they will ask me my favorite subject. So actually, we have made one experimental operating system that were nowhere close to the actual operating system, but pretty much covered all the basics. So I have.
So Om, if you're confident of it, then bring that and you tell me something about yourself.
Okay. Fine.
Say that. No, say that you did your computer science engineering from NIT Calicut.
I have confidence, but not that. Actually, that's the point. I'm not bringing it in.
Okay. So then don't bring it. But if in the academics, if they ask you 2 questions that you're not able to answer, you can politely say, "Sir, I'm sorry. This is not my data structures. Is not my strong subject. In fact, I was a part of a team that designed an experimental operating system. So that is one of my strong points." You can politely mention it after 2 questions.
Okay.
All right. Great. So yeah, at this point in time, look at transcripts and try to revise those questions. Object-oriented programming, since we discussed it, 4 pillars: polymorphism, inheritance. Make sure you remember that, right? What is it? It's inheritance, polymorphism,
abstraction and encapsulation.
Encapsulation. There you go. Right. So yeah.
Actually, after we move forward, I got the this encapsulation and one more, but I thought, okay, if it went away, it went away. Don't pull it back.
Correct. In fact, I've seen candidates do that. So when I ask them a question in a mock interview, they're not able to answer it at that time. Then towards some time passes, and they'll be like, "Oh, you can even do that actually without like look for a space." Saying, "Sir, I'm sorry, sir, I just remembered you asked me that," and then you can sort of discuss that if you want. That's okay. With a smile, right? All right.
Sir, one thing actually, I want to pull agriculture thing into the picture because that will give them the diversity, like engineering, general engineering. Well, I'm the most readily available person in this planet. Right. So I want to bring this agriculture thing into the picture because actually I have done agriculture for quite some time. Like let's say till 10th, I used to go to the field. Like actually we grow especially the potato because we do the winter thing only because summer is really tough in UP.
Yeah.
So we do only winter farming. So in the winter we do the potato and I know top to bottom everything. If they ask me anything, I can give them the full thing like profit loss and everything. So I want them to go in that side so that my 5 minutes are sorted.
Mention that and tell me something about yourself, right? Okay, say that your family is into talk about your family's business.
Okay.
Or the fact that they're into farming.
Okay, right? So I if I could take it in my hobbies, is that okay? after hobbies, like after let's say sports, I
No.
played there, and
I
then
would no. You can start it from the big. In the beginning, you can mention that I come from a, like I come from a farming background. My
okay,
family's into farming. My father is a farmer, and you can talk a little bit about it at that point. That specifically we cultivate potatoes, right?
okay, fine.
And say that I mean, again, I've never not been formally involved in it, but yeah, because I've grown up in this environment, I've kind of like always been sort of around these things, or I've visited farms and stuff like that. You can mention that in the beginning itself.
Okay, because now we switched into mustard, so I'm even learning about the mustard. Why we shifted from
So you can
potato to mustard.
talk about both the crops, and you can just mention that as a line and you tell me something.
Okay, fine. I will try to.
All right. Great. Awesome. So I'm done Om with my feedback. What questions do you have for me?
This agriculture was the one, and then yeah, one thing. If they ask me why XLRI, I have
Yes.
one prepared answer. Like actually, they have one very unique thing in the placements, which I have heard from one of their like student who is currently studying in the second year, and as well as their placement head in some YouTube session I was watching. Like they have separate interview sessions for the experienced person. So which is the one which is eye catching for me, especially for XLRI? So can I mention it?
Separate interviews for experienced people.
Yeah, people are having who are having approximately 2 years or more than that. Like the benchmark is 18 plus. If they have the 18 plus years of experience, then they have some set of companies who come to their campus, and it takes around 2 to 3 weeks. It doesn't go in those 3 days. So before placement session only, they have that session where they go talk about like go one-to-one with the candidate, and then they are not like coming how in the placement happens, like they come with the PPT, and then they just present and they give you the placement like revenue money, whatever they will give, and
Yeah.
whatever rules. So it is
Yeah.
not like that. It is a two-way discussion. Like for the experienced person, it goes two ways. Like they will tell you about 3-4 openings they have in this region, that region, and whatnot. And then after that, let's say if you get selected, then the open discussion goes on through the salaries as well.
Okay,
So
I think that's a good point. That's a good point. It's a unique sort of like, I mean, the way you're telling me, it's sort of the as an potential employee, you get to evaluate the employer gets to evaluate you. Right?
yes.
So I think that's a good point. You can mention that, but I think that should be a secondary point. Bring up something. I mean, you can even say generically that XLRI is one of the top schools, and you'd sort of be very grateful to have a seat there. And you can say one thing that caught my eye is when I was going through a website is this, and I found that very interesting.
Okay. I mean, because like that was really like actually I talked to my senior, I guess 1 year back, just when I was just sort of starting my cat and Zad journey. So that time itself I was like, okay, if I get into this journey, they are actually valuing my experience. That is one thing actually
I think
stands out.
that's a good point. You can bring that up. For sure.
Because I have never heard this for IMABC.
Sure.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether they have or not, but yeah, XLRI have, so I'm happy.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Anything else?
No, sir. Like if you have anything else, like
no, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really nice talking to you, sir.
That's good. All the best. Let me know how it goes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.